You might get rich, but you probably won't. And if things go wrong, you'll be very lucky to have any way of getting anything back.
La del mercado holandés de bulbos de tulipán fue una de las burbujas financieras más famosas de todos los tiempos. Ocurrió entre 1634 y 1637 y en el apogeo especulativo, los tulipanes más raros alcanzaron precios de hasta 10.000 florines, el valor de una mansión en el Gran Canal de Ámsterdam. Aunque estudios recientes sugieren que es posible que el alcance de la tulipomanía haya sido exagerado por los historiadores, el término sigue vivo hasta nuestros días como una parábola de codicia y exceso de inversionistas hipnotizados por la promesa de ganancias fáciles y rápidas en un mercado que no terminan de entender del todo. Sí, hoy vamos a hablar de Bitcoin. Si le interesan los temas de la tecnología y la cibercultura, síganos para más entrevistas en tiempo real. Por ahora, entremos en materia. Una espiral descendente vio al Bitcoin caer en una contundente demostración de la volatilidad de esta, la criptomoneda más grande del mundo, que apenas en noviembre de 2021 rozaba, por increíble que parezca, los $69,000 y marcaba así un máximo histórico que prometía solo cielos azules para el resto del mercado de las criptomonedas. Se trata de una caída de más del 20% en una semana, que borró las ganancias de 2022 y creó un efecto dominó en otras criptomonedas que, en su conjunto, vieron una pérdida del orden de los $2 billones. Pero sobre todo es una bala más en la canana de los críticos de la Web3. Críticos como David Gerard, durísimo escéptico de las criptomonedas y autor del libro Attack of the 50-Foot Blockchain. En tiempo real desde Londres, explicó por qué cree que las criptomonedas son una estafa y por qué pronostica que, al final, solo pueden causar que muchos inversionistas pierdan todo su dinero. ¿De dónde surge esta noción, más allá de lo tecnológico, de las criptomonedas y los activos digitales?
Bitcoin was originated by extreme libertarians. People who wanted no government control of money, no regulations, no laws, no anything, just individuals. They were very sincere. Their ideas are all completely wrong and don't work. They basically wanted to do an electronic version of the gold standard, where gold is the money and we have a limited supply. The world went off the gold standard in the 1930s and completely got rid of the last of it in 1971 because it didn't work. They had to go to monetary policy and just printing money when they needed it. And it all worked a lot better through much of the 20th century. So the thing is, there's plenty of things wrong with the system and plenty of things to object to, plenty of things to be concerned about. But their answers are actually worse. So none of that stuff would ever work. And they wanted to make Bitcoin electronic cash that you could use just like money. And it didn't work because it couldn't possibly work. So yeah, none of these ideas work. So people who want governments not to know about their money include sincere libertarians, but a much larger group who want that are crooks, criminals, scams, frauds. They really like governments not being able to see what they're doing, and they have absolutely filled the space.
Ok, pero justamente por ese espíritu libertario que las originó, ¿no hay, hasta donde usted haya visto o conocido, casos reales de uso de criptomonedas y tecnología de cadenas de bloques?
No, not really. I mean, when I say no, I say that's a no that has many years of watching this and looking for something that could possibly work. Blockchain technology is itself basically a marketing phrase. It doesn't actually mean any particular thing. If you're talking about having ledgers that you can only add new entries to and shuffling those around on computers, there was a bit of work in this in the 1990s and the early 2000s. There aren't a lot of applications for it. It's not very useful. It's not completely useless, but it's almost completely useless. So this stuff was well-worn technology. Like when Bitcoin was invented, the guy didn't say, I've invented whole new constructs. He acknowledged he was putting together old pieces in a new way. He did come up with something new and interesting. But interesting does not mean it's feasible, and it especially does not mean it's a good idea.
Y sin embargo, nadie puede negar que al día de hoy es posible que alguien gane dinero negociando Bitcoin u otras criptomonedas.
Obviously, you can. You can make a ton of money gambling. You can make a ton of money on long shot bets, and it's about the same. It's not even as regulated as gambling, right? It's totally unregulated. You have no recourse in a lot of cases if anything goes wrong. There's no one you can call to fix problems. And I don't like it as a sort of investment business because it's zero sum. Every dollar a winner wins, a loser lost. And the winners are the big guys, and the losers are the mums and dads and the grandmothers and the young people who feel desperate in an economy which they feel is rigged against them, so they think this is their lottery ticket out of that. And it isn't.
Pero de seguro hay alguien en los comentarios en este momento listo a decir que duplicó o más su inversión. Sabemos que hay casos en que eso ha pasado.
Early investors can only be paid using money from later investors. That's the only place where money comes from. If Bitcoin goes from $60,000 to $30,000 and you bought at 60, you didn't lose your money when it went down. You lost your money when you bought the Bitcoin. All you've got is a Bitcoin, and you have to find someone to pay you more than you paid for it. Then they have to find someone who will pay them more than they paid for it. And at the end, you're obviously going to have a lot of people who are just stuck with magic beans they cannot sell.
A pesar de eso, o quizás justamente por eso, Gerard explica que Bitcoin seguirá existiendo mientras más personas estén perfectamente dispuestas a poner dinero real sobre la promesa de monedas virtuales. En sus palabras, en la crisis de 2008 la reserva de respaldo eran básicamente casas, pero en el mercado actual de las criptomonedas, la reserva de respaldo es la credulidad.
The promise of Bitcoin and of everything crypto, ICOs, NFTs, all of it, is that you can get rich for free. It's the psychology of promises of getting rich for free without working. If you promise people can get rich for free, they'll come to you. They'll give you their money. They'll tell their friends to give you their money. This has been true throughout as long as we've had money. You know, my favorite book on Bitcoin is Extraordinary Popular Delusions by Charles Mackay, a Scottish economist who was writing in the year 1841. It was a book all about economic asset bubbles, exuberance, false promises that people could get rich for free. He made the tulip story very popular, and the South Sea bubble, and bubbles like that. The thing is that there's no such thing as a get rich quick scheme. They're all lies. Obviously, they're lies. People keep getting fooled because they really want a get rich quick scheme. And with Bitcoin, they say, if you can get rich for free. Technology. Oh, I see. Technology. Technology is not an excuse. I'm a technologist. I explain how blockchains actually work to people. They're very simple, but that doesn't matter because none of it is about the technology. It's all about the story. The story is you can get rich for free, and that story is not true.
Ok, ¿cuál es su opinión sobre el experimento de El Salvador, que en septiembre de 2021 se convirtió en el primer país del mundo en aceptar el uso de Bitcoin como moneda de curso legal?
I've been following Bitcoin in El Salvador since the announcement. I've never been to El Salvador myself. I've been told by my Salvadoran contacts that I probably shouldn't go there while Bukele is in power. Actually, I hope to write a book about this. It's really interesting. They got what they wanted, which was to have someone adopt Bitcoin and try to use it seriously. It was an utter disaster. Nothing about this worked. Everyone went, this can't work. What are you doing? I don't know how this will work. How do you think this will work? Then it turned out it didn't work. Everything everyone had said about how it wouldn't work turned out to be true. They tried building a payment system from nothing in 3 months. You can't do that. It literally just can't be done.
¿Cómo deja esto las promesas del metaverso y de la Web3, de un Internet de copropietarios, lejos del control de megacorporaciones y más en manos de gente dispuesta a poner su dinero en activos digitales.
Firstly, none of that stuff exists. Secondly, the dream is contradictory. What Web3 actually is, it's marketing by a bunch of venture capital firms. Their main objection to the existing internet is that they're not running it. There's also a huge opportunity for them to make money getting other people to issue unregistered securities, what would be unregistered investment opportunities in the US. If the other people are running them and they're just putting money in, those guys get in trouble. They don't, even though their money is making this happen. So it's quite a good scheme. It's all basically Web3 doesn't exist, and what does exist is a lot of promises, a lot of which contradict each other.
¿Eso significa que no voy a contar con usted como uno de los primeros compradores de los pugs aburridos de mi nueva colección de NFT?
No, I don't think I will. I'll probably right-click it and save it, though. I'll do that for you.
Ok, ya en serio, ¿cómo se rompe ese loop? ¿Cómo salir de una espiral donde cada vez que cae dramáticamente el precio del Bitcoin, los escépticos ven ratificados sus temores y sus sospechas, pero los creyentes dicen, nunca hubo un mejor momento para comprar?
I think the answer would be more regulation, particularly on the gateways to and from money. The crypto exchanges, the bits where the money goes in and out, what companies do with the money, making sure that the crypto companies cannot get into the real economy where people live. They're trying to do things like get pension funds to buy cryptos. Can you imagine buying this incredibly speculative stuff that goes up or down 10% in a day, and you've got it sitting here for 30 years to be your future? I can't see that working. The US regulators are very worried about this because they are worried that these incompetent people will trash the real economy, and they're working out how to make sure that does not happen. Like just a few weeks ago, one big cryptocurrency stable coin called UST collapsed. Terra and their coin Luna and their coin UST all collapsed. It's supposed to be a stable dollar. It was not a stable dollar. It was a token that was priced in a token that was priced in other tokens, and those were priced in dollars. Now, if you know your economic history, that is the exact sort of thing that caused the 2008 financial crisis. That is, they had dollars that were backed by bets on house prices. As soon as the price of houses went down, the whole thing fell over. And that took out some large money market funds. And that took out their investors. And that took out other companies. And it got to the point it was going to collapse the whole US economy. And the Federal Reserve had to just spray dollars all over the place. And a lot of badly behaved bankers, strangely enough, 0 of those went to jail. It caused a lot of resentment. And I don't think Bitcoin was invented because of that crisis, but the inventor definitely thought it was justification for Bitcoin, that this nonsense was happening. He made sure it couldn't happen with Bitcoin. Then 14 years later, crypto did it again themselves. Very short memories.
¿Cuál sería su consejo para alguien que hoy considera invertir en criptomonedas?
Don't treat it like you're betting on very bad horses. Like you've got a horse race of the worst horses in the world, and you're trying to work out which is the least bad horse. And you'll probably lose all your money, but if you find that entertaining, then you'll definitely find cryptocurrency very entertaining. You might get rich, but you probably won't. And if things go wrong, you'll be very lucky to have any way of getting anything back. So trade carefully.
Señor Gerard, mil gracias por estar en Tiempo Real. Para más información, en la descripción del video encontrará los enlaces al blog de David Gerard y a su libro Attack of the 50-Foot Blockchain. Si le interesan los temas de la tecnología y la cibercultura, síganos para más entrevistas en Tiempo Real.